Twice in the past 100 years, this frozen lake has changed hands between Finland and Russia. For decades, it was a Cold War frontier, and relations haven't thawed yet.
There have always been difficulties. Finland has fought 2 wars against the Soviet Union. During the Cold War era, Finland always had to balance between the interests of the Eastern superpower, the Soviet Union, and its own values.
Unlike its western boundary with Sweden, where there's not even any passport control, the Finnish border guard conducts daily patrols along this cold, wild frontier. It's a border that has been kept under constant surveillance.
We were watching what happens at the Russian side, and the Russian side was looking what happens in this side.
These observation towers are now obsolete.
Nowadays we are doing our job with the other means.
But decades after the end of the Cold War, Finland still maintains a nationwide system of readiness along its eastern border.
We never dismantled that system, even though we had the 1990s when Soviet Union collapsed, and we didn't dismantle it because we had seen it before. Like Russia may be weak for a moment, but then again they might be coming back again.
There's no question Russia is back again, and under Vladimir Putin has pursued an increasingly aggressive foreign policy, invading Georgia and Ukraine, sending spies overseas to assassinate its enemies, and using hacking and propaganda to meddle with elections and sow chaos across the world.
What we are talking about here is so-called hybrid warfare. So their way is to leash their forces, to meddle with our systems in order to confuse us, in order to make us rip the seams of our societies apart.
During the annexation of Crimea, the Russians also deployed cyber weapons to bring down Ukraine's power grid. Here, workers at one Ukrainian power company watched in amazement as a hacker took control of their computer.
They actually were aiming to plunge Ukraine in darkness for not only for an hour and a half, that was actually happening now, but for weeks or even up to months in the midst of the winter.
Finland has also been a target of Russia's online aggression, with repeated cyber attacks on its most sensitive institutions of government.
We got information from our partners that there are unwanted guests within the systems of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And according to the open source investigations, it was a Turla group which has been associated to Kremlin. Surprise, surprise.
In August, sophisticated attacks were launched against the police, Finland's national tax office, and a major municipality north of Helsinki. Last December, Supo, Finland's national intelligence agency, issued a new report which explicitly acknowledged the cyber attacks being launched against Finnish state institutions and attributed to Russia. And it warned that such foreign intelligence activity would only continue.
Many superpowers, including Russia, China, using also this cyberspace and manipulating maybe the signals and the situation, using these cyber weapons.
Finland is not a member of NATO, but last October it joined the largest NATO exercise since the Cold War. Midway through, GPS signals were jammed across Norway and Finland, wreaking havoc for both military and civilian aviation. Norway says Russia was behind that.
Well, it looks like the manipulation comes from that direction.
It's an allegation Russia denies.
Well, of course, it's not acceptable, and we have seen similar manipulation in some other contexts.
With one eye on its eastern border, Finland conscripts more than 20,000 new soldiers every year. It recalls them for regular training and conducts simulated war games at bases around the country. For a tiny country of just 5.5 million people, Finland boasts a ready fighting force of 280,000 troops.
You have to have so much strength that you don't ever have to use it.
Finland is also investing in its cyber defence.
In the old days, people said that now you have a peacetime and now there is a wartime, but that border doesn't exist anymore. I mean, cyber operations are taking place every day nowadays, all over the world. And wherever there is a weakness, it will be exploited. It's a user layer or social layer.
Major Tommi Laari is one of a new breed of soldiers being inserted across the Finnish Defence Force.
We need the technical guys, we need the hackers, we need the guys who can build the code. I think that the cyberspace is still kind of like Wild Wild West. We have some international rules that you should apply, but not everybody is playing according to these rules.
This tiny Scandinavian state has scrambled to build the best cyber defences it can.
Because Russia is very close to us. Physically, we have 1,300 kilometer common border. We have a very clear line of self-protection against physical threats, against threats in the internet, in the cyberspace. And that's how we have been building our independent security.
And with an increasingly combative Russia on its doorstep, those protections are needed now more than ever.
I think we should prepare for everything as security officials.
Why is that?
Because there's nobody else.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.